Alrighty, let's get this episode 6 finale show on the road, shall we? So, anyway, welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. So where we last left off, there was a lot of important stuff shown. Aside from Canon getting eliminated as a piece, in which it results in Chick Beato getting disappeared off the road. However, it does seem to lead off to where it foreshadows Chick Beato unlocking her full potential, in which it leads to Beato Ricci infiltrating the entirety of the fortress, aka the cathedral, in order to make an attempt to duel against the final boss, aka Erica. And I say, there was some very interesting amusement within the entirety of the cathedral. So, there's that in mind. But the question that leads up is, how did Beatrice able to unlock her full potential, I wonder. So I wonder if this is going to show in this section right here. The current track is Battlefield. Very upbeat, per se. In fact, most of the tracks are. So let's continue. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. The raindrops never touched him. He made no splashes in the countless puddles. His feet left no tracks in the mud. That rushing figure was Canon. Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight at it as though trying to break through and leapt into it. Though the door was shut, even that couldn't stop Canon. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. And as he recalled those nostalgic days spent serving the Ushiromiya family, which would never come again, he ran once more. He was heading for Battler's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then, the doors to the kitchen and the dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and rigidity of serving Kinzo directly. However, that man wasn't rigid all the time. When the family was out of sight, and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty, his face could turn unbelievably childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? Huh, you mean to tell me that Kinzo taught Canon how to shoot a gun? How to shoot a firearm? Didn't he? That was pretty fun. Krao-sama was actually surprisingly kind. He must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as though he was a classmate of mine. I sort of regret that I held back and never did anything but nod in return. Madam was a really strict person. Ever since some rumor went around saying that she was strict on female servants but soft towards the male servants, I get the feeling she viewed me as an enemy. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. Yeah, Natsuki is not a good person, but there is something that you should feel bad for her, in all honesty. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. When I've seen her alone, I've noticed her shoulders sag with the pain many times. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while, others stayed a long time. Genji-sama was the only one person I might have called my father. I am both grateful and resentful towards him over many things. They all mix together, cancel out, and I end up with a neutral emotion. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She's helped me out many times. I've always wanted to repay her someday. Now I've lost that chance for all time. Yeah, I can see why even though Genji is a pretty stoic and questionable at times, I can see how Genji can be like the fatherly figure and Kumasawa could be like, I want to say Kumasawa would be the motherly figure according to Kanon's perspective, but he is like everyone's grandma at this point. Now I've lost that chance for all time. Shannon is my Nissan, aka the sisterly figure. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thanks for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Goda? I hate that guy. Still, when I complimented his stew, he would sometimes turn red and say there was enough for seconds. I didn't dislike that part of him. I wonder why such a strong memory popped up at the instant I ran past the dining hall. And then, my memories of Jessica. Oh, it's a boy servant. How old are you? I think those were the first words she spoke to me. Come to think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that wouldn't lose to George-sama and Shannon's. But since I could only see the gray sea, I wasted almost all of that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I get the feeling we never really made that clear. No, she told me. We should have stayed together longer to eventually find that out. It would have been fine to find reasons for our love later. It took me far too long to realize that. Now, I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon won the duel. God must have been watching. You had so much more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Badler. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. He had probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. I could tell at a glance just how hard he had tried until the final moment when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set.
バトル様、大丈夫です。今、お助けします。
I guess Chick Beato, believed in canon enough to where she could, quote unquote revive him in a way. But it's like, even then, it's like, I wonder. Surprisingly, nobody ordered security, quote unquote, around the guest room, huh? Lorelei. Badler responded faintly. He probably hadn't even imagined that help would come to this eternal closed room. He was so scared that this might be an auditory hallucination brought about by a fleeting delusion, that he couldn't bear to open his eyes easily. Cannon grabbed Badler by the arms and dragged him into the room. The inside of the room was terrible. The windows had been brutally shattered, and the wind and rain had made its way inside. All kinds of tools and furniture lay broken there. However, Badler hadn't smashed them out of rage. The curtain had been removed, torn, and twisted up into a bundle. He had probably used trial and error to see if that could be used as a rope for some trick. He had tried using everything in the room, exploring all possible options of escape. The traces could be seen throughout the room and even in the bathroom. The empty bathtub was stained with just a bit of blood, and the nippers lay there on the bottom. To protect this tale, he had nearly been prepared to accept Berncastle's brutal method of escape, cutting himself into pieces and washing himself down the drain. He was even willing to tear apart his own body to protect the game that Beato had entrusted him with. He had probably questioned himself over and over in this bathtub, wondering if there was any other way out. By the clock of the game world, not even a single day had passed. However, just how many years has it been in the closed room of the logic error? When faced with an endless span of time, any way of ending it, no matter how cruel, is tempting. However, he had rejected that until the very end. And, even in the last moment, his heart died. He had wanted so much to show his iron will to escape from this closed room, that he had chosen to fall here in the corridor, with the chain still around his neck.
バトラ様
And he's been sacrificing all his entire will and effort to escape this place, huh? Even if it's like, he made it his own.
カノンです。どうかお気をしっかり。
He wiped Badler's face with a towel wetted in the sink. In response to that cold sensation, Badler's heart slowly started beating again.
カノン君か。
そうです。カノンです。よくぞ今日まで耐え忍ばれました。
ちょいと寝坊が過ぎたみてえだ。
Badler realized that the feel of the towel on his neck meant that the cursed collar and chain were gone.
もうバトラ様を縛るものは何もありません。
The question is, what's next? Now that it says here that the cursed collar and the chain are gone, what is his plan? How is he able to is escaping the room means that he can come back to his senses while his current body in the cathedral?
さあ早くお戻りください。
でもよ、あのチェーンを開けるとまた鎖につながれちまう。
大丈夫です。もうバトラ様を縛る鎖は存在しません。僕がここに残ります。
So Canon is like, while I'm temporarily alive, you must escape right now. I will fill in that role for you. So do not do anything stupid, and go out there and show what you're made for, and reunite with Beatrice.
なんだって。
By now, Badler knew the terror of this endless closed room better than anyone else. So, it was more filled with shock than happiness. Shock at the determination of the one who was willing to become the new prisoner.
僕は大丈夫です。何も心配することはありません。
しかし
バトラ様はまだやらなければならないことが終わりなのではないですか。
Exactly. Don't you have a goal? God damn it.
俺は
早くお戻りを。あなたの代わりに戦っている人がいる。そしてあなたの帰りを待っている人がいる。あなたはまた帰らないのですか？
His stern words and gaze shot straight through Battler.
本当にいいのか？
はい、それでいいんです。これであの時の借りが返せるのですから。
借り？俺カノン君に何か。
Debt? Why, what do you mean by the debt that you owe?
バトラ様の借りではありません。いいから言ってください。僕は借りを作らない主義なんです。さあ早く。あなたは今度こそ待たせてはいけないんです。だから早く。
Kennen has a lot of stuff going through with himself that even no one can even understand. If it was not for the help of the few that Canon can recognize, then he wouldn't reach to that part just now. In a way. Battler couldn't argue back anymore. He silently bowed his head, unset the chain, and opened the door. Cannon had remained in the room, so no chain appeared about Battler's neck. He could leave this closed room just by running out. The happy-sounding voices that he had heard at the far end of the corridor had been replaced with an excited chatter. There must have been some sort of strange disturbance going on. There is the escape. As Cannon went out into the corridor to see me off, the merciless collar and chain had already captured their new prisoner. He would remain inside this endless closed room in Battler's place.
カノン君、俺もだぜ。
何がですか？
俺も借りを作らない男だぜ。この恩は必ず返す。それもすぐにだ。
期待していいやら。さあ走って、あなたの愛する人のところへ。そしてどうかもう二度と迷わないで。
In other words, don't fuck it up this time. Battler didn't turn back again. He ran with everything he had. He ran out into the corridor, whose warmth he had cursed so many times. That cursed chain no longer bound him. He ran to the very end of the corridor, beyond the light. Cannon, still connected to the chain, watched him go, then quietly returned to the guest room. Now, he only had to worry about his own job, stay in this room, and fix the error in logic.
これで チェーンロックをかけて。
Now, how is Kennen gonna be able to set this, I wonder? As soon as he said it, the chain disappeared from his neck. Then, if he hid in the one place Erica hadn't checked, the broken logic would be fixed. The closet door opened slowly. It was well oiled and opened without a sound. It was cramped inside and dark. This tiny space is the last place I'll see. As long as I remain hidden in here, the logic will be preserved.
簡単な仕事だな。バラの手入れより簡単さ。
I mean, Kennen is like small enough to hide in there, so Kennen went in it and closed the double doors from the inside. As soon as he did, a single small gold butterfly appeared, melted into the darkness of the closet, and vanished. It was a sign that the logic had been fixed. The witch's game had already stopped, and the clock of the world of pieces would never tick again. So for all eternity, no one would come to save him from this place.
別にいいさ。これで借りは返したよ。ベアトリーチェ。
The power of the gold butterfly brooch taught me about love. In the third game, it gave me some quiet time alone, Jessica. I get the feeling it did many other small things for me. At any rate, I've paid back all of my debts now. Now, all of my debts are...
ジェシカが貸してくれた音楽テープ返してないや。いいよね、ジェシカ。あれ気に入ってたんだ。だからプレゼントにしてもらってもいいかな。ダビングして渡すからダメ？
Slowly, Cannon's body began to melt into a cloud of gold butterflies. And after the inside of the cramped, dark closet glittered like a golden planetarium, it faded away like the light of fireflies and was painted over by a pitch blackness for all eternity. Alright, and now we assume back at the cathedral. In the cathedral, the goat attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Beato and Erica. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zephyr and Furfur.
フリントロック式ですか。また古風な。
Oh. When she's meant by the duel, she meant she got inspired by the idea from watching Shannon versus Kennen with the duel from each other.
気にするな。悪魔というのは様式美にこだわるものでな。
Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was, of course, a demon's gun. This wasn't a gun that would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder, like the pistols used in the duel between Shannon and Kennen, whose bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. these pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead.
ベアト、心配の必要はないわよ。あっさり勝ってまたリーアは悪態の日々だわ。
We'll see.
この勝負が終わりましたら、たまには有給を申請してみましょう。私、この戦いが終わったら、たまにはぶらりとカリブの方へ船旅にでも。
A vacation getaway.
この勝負が終わったらはやめとけって。
I ain't gonna lie, Ronove is he's a kind of, he was really weird at the time when he was first introduced, but no, as of now, yeah, I'm slowly liking the guy.
決闘前に演技でもないわ。
Alright, let's see.
ベアと緊張感を持ってヘラヘラ笑ってる場合じゃありません。
なんでリーチェがリラックスしててリーアが緊張してんのよ。もう
せーの、ベアトリーチェ様しっかり。ベアトリーチェ様に不利な一騎打ちだ。どうして？
本来魔女は手数で勝負できる。ところがゲームが中断されたため、手持ちはバトラ様の客室の謎くらいしかないのよ。
That is true. The power is only within Beatrice herself, unless, there is some sort of possible assistance.
エリカはその謎だけ青きくさびでうがてば全ての謎を解明したことになってしまう。勝てるわよ。ベアトリーチェ様とバトラ様の我らが二人の主を私は信じる。
お呼びですか？ありがとう。珍しく勝ちも負けも五分五分だと思ってます。だから先にお礼を言っときます。すべて職務です。感謝の必要はありません。あんたが前回のゲームの時、私がボロクソに負けたのにかばってくれた時嬉しかった。私生まれてから誰かにかばわれたのってあれが初めてだった。我が主にさ、私はかばわれたことがない。私が主に与えられたのは、暴かれた真実には暴き返すことで自分の痛みを打ち消すという傷つけ合いの仕方だけでした。
I mean, at some point, you may dedicate your loyalty to your own master, but at some point, your own master is gonna backstab you later on. So it's not guaranteed to be fully trusted, no matter how much you put in your effort. And that can be applied to anything. That can apply to anything when you're working within a certain job occupation. It's like getting experience within your first time working at a job, not everything within the work environment is gonna treat you the same, like in TV shows and whatnot.
傲慢をお許しください。
I get an achievement for 30,000 clicks. That's funny.
私は守らねばと思いました。あなたがどんなか弱い真実で生き、
それをよりもっともらしい虚実の横暴で虐げられてきたか察した時、
I can't believe they give you a fucking in-game achievement for like clicking through a visual novel. That is simplistic as shit. It's like, oh, like if I really want to go through like a achievement, just in-game achievement, just to get just involves clicking, I'd rather play like a clicker game. In all honesty.
あなたを守りたいと思いました。
Well, you seem to be really passionate within your job as the head inquisitor there, Dalinor. So.
ありがとう。短い間だったけど、あんたは最高のパートナーでした。
これからもです。
そうですね。あいつを倒したら、あんたと一緒にこの島でいっぱいミステリーを作りましょう。そしてそれをあんたに出題していじめて遊ぶ。どうです？
気に入りました。新たな挑戦楽しみにしています。
あ、嘘ごめん。今の撤回です。こういうの負けフラグって言うんでしょ？
She's like, what? Nice joke there, buddy.
さあいいかい？二人の決闘者たち。
When the two demons clapped their hands, the duelists instantly returned to their bold, tense smiles.
魔法の銃に込める弾は鉛じゃないわ。
And what the fuck did those bullets are even made of?
ミステリーとファンタジーのうがち合いは赤と青の真実を弾とするべきさ。
Ah, the bullets of colored truth.
互いに真実がある限り弾は無限。
Ah, so it's one of those like it's a duel of the gunfights, huh? Unlike the one duel where it's like one bullet is very limited, then this one is okay. Well, see how that goes.
ただし一撃でも当たれば即死。両者覚悟はいいね。
当然。
無論。
栄光ある元老院の議員にして偉大なる絶対の魔女大ラブナデルタ教おいでませ。汝この決闘の立ち会い人となることを誓うか？
もちろんよ。誓うわ。
The crowd split, and Lambda walked forward with Berncastle by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists. Then she took out an envelope with the seal of the one-winged eagle and lifted it high.
ベアトリーチェより封書にて物語の修正書を受け取ったわ。審査の結果、内容は有効。ロジックエラーの回避を宣言するわ。チェーンロックはかかったまま。これまでの赤き真実に一切矛盾しない。
The many goat attendants knew the details of Badler's closed room. They realized how difficult it was. Excuse me. And though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer. Now, it was clear that Beatrice had already reached one.
よって本決闘は有効。決闘はたった1点。バトラの客室の密室をめぐって行われるわ。チェーンロックがかかった密室から
後宮バトラは失踪した。これについてエリカは青き真実の争点を、ベアトリーチェは反論の赤き真実の争点を。決闘は決着がつくまで続けられるものとする。
上等だ。
上等です。
オーケー。
OK。
それではベアト、あなたが修正した新しい物語と謎をエリカに提示して。
密室のいとこ部屋よりカノンは魔法にて封印を破らずに脱出。密室に至り魔法にてバトラを密室の外へ脱出させた。
OK。
くだらない物語。
結構。エリカ側確認は？
復唱要求。バトラを救出したのは間違いなくカノン本人である。
受けようぞ。
Excuse me。
バトラを救出したのは間違いなくカノン本人である。
Obviously。
復唱要求。バトラとカノンは別人である。
Well, they're two different people, but they're not the same, you know?
受けようぞ。バトラとカノンは別人である。
Yeah.
結構です。
That's it? It's okay.
エリカ、確認は以上？
You want to confirm these in red before you want to counter the blue within the debate, huh?
今ので結構です。戦い方は決まりましたので。
Let's see.
オーケー。
Okay, you say okay with that grim look on your
両
face.
者は弾丸を装填なさい。
Erica turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of the pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Beato's bold smile. Beato had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erica to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. Then she looked at Badler, who sat on the throne of the territory lord, right next to the two witches, who were here as witnesses. Badler's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Beato had come to duel for his sake, so that he could be saved. It was all he could do to just look at Beato with those sluggish eyes. But a flood of emotions passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erica closed her eyes tightly, her finger still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear. Good, though. It's always been like this, but my concentration really is good. Are you ready, me? Furuto, Erica. Rebirth. First, let's lay out the situation. Badler disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Kennen didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Badler's place, and set the chain. Just like that. Everyone knows that much. The problem is the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Kennen was in the cousin room, in the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape, and it's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of the logic error. In other words, Kennen escaped from a closed room that was absolute, with no chance for excuses or twisted logic. Good though. This is why she called it a simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room known as the cousin room? If I got stuck thinking only about that question, I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there is no way to escape, quote unquote. In other words, trying to think of ways to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Cannon was somewhere outside the cousin room when it was sealed. The cousin room is a completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, then it's already game over. In other words, at the time the cousin room was sealed, he wasn't inside it anymore. Surely he wasn't like sucked through the floor. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's locations and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. At that time, we have the 5 people in the next room over, whom I confirmed with my own eyes. Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during the location check, and confirmed that they were in the next room over. Then, I checked to see whether everyone else, quote-unquote, was in the cousin room, and had that confirmed for me as well. I said everyone else, quote-unquote, so whether he was Cannon, or Yoshia, or even Puru Pickomen, they all should have been sealed in the cousin room. The look on her face. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though that phrase, everyone else, seems perfect, it's fishy. Strictly speaking, everyone else, quote-unquote, refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. For example, it's been confirmed that Hideyoshi and George were in the next room over. So, humans with the name Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin room. It seems that Cannon told Jessica that his real name was Yoshia, but that was no red truth. In other words, what if Cannon's real name is the same as one of those in the next room over? They seem to be about the same age. So let's use George. So what if there were 2 Georges in that room? That doesn't violate the red truth saying that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo are in the next room over. Let's say that Cannon's real name was Tanaka George. Both Ushiromiya George and Tanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names. It looked to my eyes as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6th person, Cannon, was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detective's authority, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide. I see, the double name trick. Stupid, so stupid. Alright, I've made my logic. Cannon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin room, left by the window after the seals were placed. Bang. The gun had fired, and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The Blue Truth gunpowder had exploded. Ah, damn it! I've already had Dalinor seal that one a short while ago. Blue Truth arguing about the window of the next room over is forbidden, so I can't use it. Huh. So her gun backfired all because she messed up the Blue Truth logic. She can't use the thing. It's crazy. I thought she can use like the double names thing. Alrighty, I'm back. Had to use the washroom. So apparently she can't fire the bullet made of Blue Truth because, in all question, so if Cannon's name is mentioned in red, but if he can use like a real name or like some sort of disguised name, then would that count as a whatchamacallit? A way to get away from, the logic? Makes me wonder. But the thing was, like, she can't really use it. Although, like, how Canon was able to escape from that room is rather like, let's not use Canon. Let's use the, a different name that he was mostly referred to.
どうした暴発か弾は慎重に込めぬとな
What a... just some random haunting of a dialogue there.
うるさいです。
Pretty typical for Beato Ricci.
ちょっとしたミスです。
Erica's like, shut the fuck up. There was a little mishap of the gun given, that's all.
隣部屋の窓くだらん小細工で塞いだようだなガープに聞いたぞ
そうですか。それが何か？
ドラノールそのくだらぬ封印を解け今やその封印は貴様らの枷であるわ
Beato has figured out everything I've been thinking. And she's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument.
エリカ卿
解いてください。あんにゃろう。後悔させてやります。
Oh, she's mad. Let's see.
準備はいいようだね決闘者たちよければ向き合って銃口を
With your pistols. Oh shit.
そして真実の火種で着火を
After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erica spun around. Beato had been facing her since the beginning. She wore a confident, challenging smile, as if she'd been kept waiting. Then, without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other.
来い楽しませてもらうぞ
始めなさい
Alright, let's see how this goes.
まずカノンがいかにしていとこ部屋の密室から脱出したか、それを弾丸とします。
ほうそちらから来るか来るがよいぞ存分に
参ります。
The way. Alright. Let's see here. Well, we are approaching almost 50 minutes in. So. But, well at it. This is a, pretty interesting development there. So, what Canon did to make Battler escape. And maybe if he escapes, it will make the actual Battler come to his senses. That's really makes me question how Canon was able to escape, even though he died and supposedly turned into a spirit to revive it that way. But the question within human logic is with how Canon was able to escape from their particular room. Is it because that he'd rather be referred, maybe he's comfortable enough with the real name to where he can just get away from it, escape through it? Although he's watched by Rudolph, though, but it makes me wonder. I can't really think of that particular logic, though. Oh well. Anyway, next part, we'll continue more of this finale because the duel has just begun. So, with that said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.